promoter and manager. Today I'm talking about the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. This agreement was signed, the initial signing was last year, I think March around the 21st or something, 2018, but then Nigeria joined this month, and now you have the four countries that's participating. What does this free trade agreement mean for Africa and really for the world? So for Africa, the free trade agreement, number one, the benefit would be time management. When I say time, what do I mean? Well, instead of it taking so long to get a good from China or Europe or the US into Africa, it will be much easier and faster for the goods to be transported from one African country to the next. So that's time management. So for let's use Nigeria for instance. Nigeria is a big economy, a huge country, and they produce several commodities. They produce several crops, and they produce oil and all different types of things. So let's say they produce rice. The staple food in Liberia is rice. So if we need rice, instead of waiting for a consignment from China or the US that would take over a month uh, plus on the ocean, we order the rice from Nigeria. When we order the rice from Nigeria, the longest it might take will be 2 days for it to get into Liberia. It might take 2 to 3 days, and you'll get your consignment of goods. So that cuts down the time management, which is a great thing. And then another benefit would be the pricing. So instead of paying the extra shipping cost to ship goods from the US, Europe, Asia, or especially China, when it comes to rice in this instance, you look at the shipping cost. The shipping cost, it wouldn't cost so much because it's going to literally take 2 to 3 days and your product would be in the country. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to cost as much. It could cost more, but it could cost less. When they say free trade, what do they really mean? The next thing is the next benefit would be the free trade part. So if you order goods from China, USA, wherever else around the world, Australia by ship or by sea to get into your country in Africa, you have to pay tariffs like extra shipping costs and all this extra stuff. You're gonna have to pay that. That's what I know. We always hear Donald Trump saying he's gonna slap tariffs on China, but you're gonna have to pay some tariffs, which is extra taxes over the goods. So you pay for your goods plus you're paying taxes. Then you may have to pay extra taxes. But in this case, traveling or moving goods from one country to the next, you wouldn't have to pay extra taxes. For instance, if you're moving goods like the rice example I give from Nigeria to Liberia, if you're moving rice from Nigeria to Liberia at the border of because Nigeria is like Benin, Togo, Ghana, uh, Ivory Coast, and then Liberia. So at each border, I'm pretty sure what this free trade agreement is saying is at each border, they wouldn't have to pay additional taxes. They wouldn't have to pay additional taxes at each bordering country in order for the goods to get in your country. When the goods get in your country, there are going to be some fees associated with it. It might not be as much as a regular tariff per se. I don't know what the percentages are, but it might not be as much, but there will be fees associated with it. So at the end of the day, it's still a better deal because you get your goods faster. Now, one way this could really impact a lot of entertainment companies, a lot of entertainers like myself, is to continue to focus on product, meaning merchandise, meaning albums, meaning DVDs. Focus on products. We have to focus on products. So me as an entertainer, if I'm jumping into the African free trade agreement, what I would have to do is find a distributor. The distributor in Africa will be able to say, okay, we're gonna buy 50,000 copies of your CDs because we have to distribute this all over Africa. So that's a benefit, you know. So they're gonna order 50,000 copies of my album or 50,000 copies of my DVD, and basically they'll have to put it in stores. They'll keep it in their warehouse, whichever country the distribution company is in. They'll keep it in their warehouse and find buyers in different countries to place your albums in those stores. So that's a great thing for us as artists or entertainment companies, to not take this lightly at all. There are so many benefits because African products are about to move about from one country to the next. You may not have heard about Mizanic in Kigali, Rwanda, but you might end up seeing my merchandise or my CDs or my DVDs in Rwanda, in Egypt, in Morocco, in Algeria, in Kenya, in Ethiopia. I mean, all over Africa. And that's one of the biggest benefits of this free African Continental Free Trade Agreement. You know, African goods are going to be able to move from one part of the continent to the next and really to the diaspora. Because if your product is in every African country, the diaspora, the African diaspora in all parts of the world, they'll know about who you are and they'll be able to also order your product. And that just equates to more money for Africans, or more money for Black folks who are interested in doing business. This is a time to do business in Africa because you have a free trade agreement that's going to really spread about distribution companies all over Africa. And these distribution companies are about to put African products all over the place. They're about to put African products in every single country. So this is the time to do business in Africa. This is the best time to start, whether it's a distribution company or whether you want to just do your products here and sell it in Africa or the Caribbean. This is the time to do it because with this African Continental Free Trade Agreement, products are going to be able to move freely from one place to the next in Africa. It wasn't like that before. Every country had a tariff. For instance, if you were moving goods from Ghana to Algeria, every country in between, you had to pay an additional fee for like bordering fee in order for your product to move from one country to the next. With this free trade agreement, it's not going to work like that. Another great thing that happened in Africa is the ECO currency that's coming to the ECOWAS states, which is the West African states. So the West African countries, starting next year, they're going to have a single currency. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a rollover time, which means they're still going to use their regular currencies they're using now, but they're going to be introducing this new currency starting next year. Now, after that currency comes in next year, it will be a few years where they're going to completely phase out individual country currencies in West Africa. And there will only be a single currency that will be used in the entire West Africa, which is another great thing. Because what that means is those currencies, you don't have to have several currencies to move about in West Africa starting next year. You could just have a single currency and use that in every single West African country. Eventually, it's going to come to the entire Africa having one currency as well, which is another great thing, with the free trade. And it might even come to a point where they have one government too. So, all these things that are happening in Africa, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome to see some of these progresses or the progress being made, you know. So I'm excited about the free trade agreement. I just urge business people, especially Black Americans or Black British people, the Black folks in the diaspora, to take to look at this and say, look, this is my time to really get some wealth, because I'm gonna have my product. I'm gonna find a distribution company in Africa, one of these African countries, that would distribute my product throughout Africa. I don't have to worry about distribution companies here. Do you know how many Black American movies that are out? They're not even on Netflix, they're on DVD, and they're awesome films. Do you know how many independent artists who are actually putting out great content, really good music for the soul, not just only about dancing? I mean, you gotta have that too, because music is escapism, which helps people to cope with like situations in their lives. So I understand that part, but at the same time, you have artists that are making really awesome music and they're not getting the date or the like. So having this situation, this African Continental Free Trade Agreement, is just, it amounts to opportunities for Black people to be able to go into Africa, invest, start, or they could even just do their products here and go and look for distributors over there. That's it. Just make the products in America. Go whatever products it doesn't matter what it is. You could make pots and pans. You could make bags, book bags. You could make like you could make handbags. You could make like t-shirts. You could make hoodies. Whatever it is, make your products here. Take a trip to Africa and find distributors, because now the distribution company, if they like your stuff, they'll say, you know what, we'll buy thousands of this and distribute it throughout Africa. And that's what you want. As a business person, you don't necessarily want to be chasing behind every single store. That's even creating more work, unless you really want to hire a workforce to do that. But if you're a single business, for instance, a single record label like myself, nowadays I don't do a lot of the work. I outsource a lot of my work. And the reason, because I don't want to spend all that time and energy doing all the work when I can find individuals who are professionals and doing a great job as well. So, you outsource the work and they do their job. You do your part. You put a great product out and you get a distribution company to help you put the product out. You could also find a marketing company that will help you to really spread the news about the product. And that's how it should work. We shouldn't be making quality products in America, in Europe, in England, and worrying about how we're going to get our products to sell when we have a whole continent. Even the Caribbean, we have islands of Black people in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, all these different countries. This is Black. These are Black lands. All we have to do is find distributors, find marketing partners to help market our products in these different countries. But with the free trade agreement, we're going to have to find a major distribution company. If you have a solid product you believe in, you have a movie, you have a good documentary, you have a good music album that's international, like the album I have, Carnival, is an international album. You have these things, you could find partners that basically gonna be able to distribute your product out there. So don't listen to the American music industry telling you, oh, CDs are old, CDs are outdated. Do not listen to that, because there are other countries where people are still buying CDs. And in this case, we got a whole continent of Africa that could buy your CDs, that could buy your DVDs, that could buy whatever you have to sell, and they'll love it, So at the end of the day, right now, Africa is the future. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is the future and is really, really, really going to help us out. It's really going to help all of us out. So we got to take it seriously. We got, if you're a business person, this is the opportunity. This is your opportunity to get your product, throughout Africa. With a service business, it's going to be a little harder. You're going to have money. And with the service business, what you could do is look into franchising your business. So you have a good burger shop. Your recipes are great. Like the burgers are like no other. You know, it's not even like McDonald's. People taste the sauces, because it's all about the sauces, really. People taste your sauces, and your sauces just make McDonald's burger taste like nothing. You know what I'm saying? You have a service business like that, a food business. You could actually franchise that business. You could start one shop in a place like Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, and if people love it, you start to franchise it. What does franchising mean? You start to sell. As we know, McDonald's is a franchise. Quick Trip is a franchise business. Burger King in America. America is built on franchise businesses. That's what America is about, and that's how it should be. Because if you like that burger shop, you don't have to say, man, I'm only gonna eat that burger when I travel to Liberia. Nah. If you like that burger shop and there's a demand for it and they're making money, they could sell the same business idea. They sell the same business idea to another company that wants to open a burger shop. They'll have to carry the same business name. They'll have to follow the same model. They'll have to follow the same exact business model. They'll have to wear the same uniforms. They'll have to basically do it just like you are doing it in Liberia. And that's how franchising works. They'll buy into it, pay you for the license to use to use your business format. You know, a lot of us, we just copy. Some people just copy business styles, copy business models. You don't do that here in America. You get sued, and you end up shutting down real fast. You have to license the style of business, or you could call it brand as well. You have to license that brand. You have to license that style, which is called franchising. You know, so franchising is another thing. So don't feel like because I'm talking about products, that means it doesn't apply to you. You could also franchise a business. You're going to have to just open something decent, very nice, you know, have a video presentation, travel to other African countries. You're going to have to do it that way. Now, with the products business, the distribution and marketing companies are going to be able to sell that product. So that makes it a little bit easier for people who have products, because I could make a product here. I could ship it to the distribution company. If they like it, they'll say, okay, we want to put in order of 100,000 CDs. Send me the money. I put it on a ship. They get it. Or put it on an airplane, cargo plane. They get the products. Once they get the products, they store it in their warehouse and they find their buyers, because every distribution company has buyers, and their buyers are going to order directly from their warehouse. And that's how it works. Now, some distribution companies have their in-house marketing. So if they have their in-house marketing, you don't even have to worry. They'll find a way to get your products to be marketed out to other businesses that work with them. So that's how it works. But this free African Continental Free Trade Agreement is awesome, because first, moving products from one country to the next is going to take a shorter time, you know, than ordering goods from the US or whatever. So, and then as far as the expenses, it's not going to be as expensive as shipping a product and waiting a whole month for that consignment. I mean, it's just so many benefits that go along with it. So every single Black business owner, every single artist who are putting out quality music, we don't want y'all sending music to Africa As you can hear, Afrobeat music is all about escapism at this point. You have some people who are talking this and that, yeah, the rah rah gangster business, but most of the music is about feel good, making people want to dance, get away, forget about your problems. Music is entertainment, and if you're an entertainer, you should be able to think about that. People have problems, so if you could help them escape their problems for a second, you know, and just be in a world where they're not even worried about no problems. They're not worried about bills. They're not worried about mortgage, rent. They're not worried about taxes. They're not worried about any type of financial, or they're not worried about relationship problems. And at that moment, you're just making their life happy. People wonder why God bless artists. Think about it. Some artists are not really saying the right things, but when people put their music on, they make you feel good. And you worry about how is God blessing this person when they're not really saying the right things, but they're just making me feel good when I listen to their music. That's because they're touching, just how they're touching your life, they're touching lives all over the world. And just for that split second where someone is actually in a better mood, they're feeling better about themselves, they actually dancing, they're smiling, they're laughing. That's a blessing. So God is going to continue to bless that artist to continue to shine the light. Now, what the artist is doing in his or her personal life, that's something completely different. But I'm just saying, that's one of the reasons God bless artists, because you're touching so many lives and making people happy. So I'm going to just leave this on that note, but this is the time to take this very, very seriously. This free trade agreement for Africa, man, I'm so glad Nigeria signed it, and it's really going to open opportunities all over the place. So with that being said, I'm your boy Mizonic. Make sure to check out my album Carnival. I have a new group that I'm managing. Make sure to check out JBX. Go to my website, it's mizonicrecords.com or mrpellc.com. Check out JBX. Check out my artist Ziwi. He has a dance hall song out. But Calypso is the latest one we just put out for JBX. And JBX, they're in the DMV area. Make sure to contact them if you need bookings. They're a group of 3 guys, and they do multi-genre music. They do Afrobeat, they rap, they sing. I mean, they do a lot of stuff. So check them out. Check out the website. Check out the products we have. Make sure to show your support for every product on my website. Check out Black America Star. That's our conscious website where we try to just educate people and encourage the youth to do skills and trade. But with that being said, I'm your boy Mizani. Peace out.